Hello to you, Michael Rollins.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you for being with us. The beginning of the publishing journey with the coming book that you are in the process of writing and publishing.
Mm-hmm.
In order to people to get to know you a bit better, if you would share one moment, the most profound moment of your life.
Well, I remember this one like it was yesterday. It was the year 1996, the 9th of November. That's the year my father passed away.
How did it happen?
Well, he had, I believe, sudden heart attack, I believe, which was strange because my father was completely healthy. He was always healthy. He was always eating healthy. That week we used to do martial arts together, so he was in perfect physical condition. But what was weird was I had dreamt of my father passing like 4 times in a row, and the night of his passing is the night as I was dreaming the dream when he passed. So my mother woke me up and she said, "Go see what's wrong with your father." And that was the day that my father passed away. So he passed away in my arms. And
what was in your dream?
Well, I just I kept seeing him, he passing, I was 17, so this was all new to me. I'd never given death any thought like that, but it's a dream that I kept having over and over. And I ended up, when my mom woke me up, told me to go see what was wrong with my father, and he ended up passing. So for me, after he passed, I was still like stuck in a dream world, because when I would sleep, I would think it was a dream, because before it was a dream, so the reality in my brain when I was asleep was like a dream. So I would always think that he was alive, he was still alive when I woke. But yeah, that was a really, really, really hard time for me.
She called you and you went to his room, to his house?
No, so his room was down the hallway.
Okay.
I was in my room, and my mother woke me. She said, "Something's wrong with your dad. Come see what's wrong." And really weird thing, when I got in the room, he was sitting almost in like a prayer position. It was really weird. And I went to see what was wrong with him. This is very emotional for me. I just realized I didn't cry enough, But anyway, he was my best friend. Yeah. So that day,
you went to his room.
Yeah.
And what did you see there?
Well, he was sitting on his bed, and his head was back, and his hands was out, as if something was like pulling the life out. But he seemed to be very at peace with it. So, I grabbed him, to see what was wrong. And right there in my arms, So,
did you had the opportunity to tell him something?
No, I didn't. I didn't think he was, I didn't think he would die, because he was young. He was 47, and he was in full health, So I didn't think it was that bad, because it wasn't like he was sick or something. It was just sudden, And that kick-started all of this this journey. It was such a shock for me, that I had to rationalize things, for a long time, because between me dreaming it and it actually happened, it had me confused for some time. But then I began to ask a lot of questions, and I'll never forget, my main question was, how could somebody be here and then come? It's just really weird for me. It's like, where did the life go? That was something that, as a kid, stuck with me in my mind. So I kept asking this question, and I just couldn't understand how a person could be born, and then the life just like, how did life get out of them? This was the question I kept asking myself. And then when I realized that death was absolute and it would happen to everyone, then I thought to myself, I said, if death is absolute, right, then it must be predetermined. Nothing can be so absolute and not predetermined. And it's from this point that something happened to me. I can't explain what it is, but for years I became obsessed with the whole mystic side of life. So I began reading every book I could get my hands on about religion. Every religion you can think of, I was reading about it. Every book that came out that had, if it was talking about life and death, I would read it. Then I started to learn numerology and astrology, and it, started to shed more light on what I had experienced. And then there was many stories about, ancient stories from Egypt about, for example, the story about Horus and Seth. They say Horus would go to war with Seth every night, and Seth would kill Horus, and Horus would be reborn in the morning. Horus meaning the sun, it comes from, this is where we get our word hours from. So, and Seth meaning, the sunset or the darkness.
If you would share one understanding from the book that you're writing that you think can touch people from around the world, what one understanding would it be?
That's that the DNA has a recording of the full life and the ending of it.
Also the ending of it.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, there is a hidden formula
Yes.
that people can understand when and where they are going to be passing away.
You know it intuitively, but because there's something inside of each human that doesn't want to look at it, you can't get access to it. But the way it happens is the genes, they know when and where you're supposed to die, and they take you there. So what may look like a coincidence is actually your genetic makeup knowing that it's your expiry date. And it moves you. So throughout life, you may think that your thoughts are yours and your ideas are yours, but they're not. The same way you get hungry and it's not yours, it's your biology. So your biology knows everything about your life. It knows the ending as well. And it doesn't need your input, your thinking, or anything to do what it needs to.
It's a destiny within your genes.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it's all within the genes, down to every little smallest idea that you have. The thoughts themselves are stimulating from out of the genetic makeup. And there is an overlay on the thinking. So, for example, you may have an idea that's yours of something that you want to do. But when you speak the words, there is two paths within one sentence. And your path kind of put like some kind of euphoric energy on top of the real, what's actually really going to play out. And so you never get a chance to see it, because as long as you think that you're in control and that it's your ideas, you can never really see what the real drive is. But the genes have always been many steps ahead of you before you started to think. They were already pushing your body out. So you could never get ahead of the genetic makeup. And what it seems is that some kind of way human beings manage to begin thinking, which has created a separate reality within a reality. So,
kind of the matrix.
Yes. So your mind is over here, but your biology is going that way, and it doesn't care about your ideas and your concepts and your religion and your beliefs. It doesn't care. And you can be living a life all within your own thinking. And this is what a lot of believers do. You know, they create this internal reality within the mind that they live in, while simultaneously the biology is taking you through all of these experiences. And this is why a lot of times people fall in and out of their belief systems, because the reality itself doesn't match the experience or the belief that they want to have.
You know, before we conclude this interview, I'm very curious. What was the reaction of your father, or the soul of your father, to this wonderful and deep understanding that you are writing about and talking about right now? Was there any inner connection in between you two?
Well, the way I see it is, we're both the same gene, the same genetic expression. Funny thing is, my father was born on the 6th of December and I was born on the 6th of January. So, from a numerological perspective, we're both born on the same day. But when you add the value of the entire birthday together, both our numbers reduce to the same number, which is a 5. So we have the same numerical frequency.
What does it mean regarding your destiny?
Well, when I look at my life, it's literally a spitting experience of my own father's life. It's like, my father was always traveling, and I'm always traveling. There's a lot of different experiences or different things that I saw him go through and I look at him and I say, this is crazy. It's almost like the DNA copy-paste the reality, onto the fabric of space. I don't know how it does it, but it has the ability. It's not just, and it's not just hereditary diseases and things like that in the gene, but the actual experience itself. The gene knows somehow how to structure your life in a way where it will have the same experiences as
it's amazing.
As your parents.
Michael Rollins, before we conclude, one last sentence that you would like that the international audience would take from this video interview, from the new coming book, to their hearts. One sentence. What sentence would it be?
Well, that is, if you simply accept reality as is,
not to struggle against it.
You won't struggle against it. But the moment you accept reality for what it is, everything kind of dissipates, and there's no more struggle. This seems to be the thing that happens to people at the moment of death. But if you do that in life, you'll see that the struggle that's happening in your life is being produced by your brain, which is unnecessary because the biology doesn't need it to survive.
That's amazing. Michael Rollins, I want to thank you very much for this unique perspective about life and death. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.